Okay guys, I'm back. Short little talk. I did it. I did my pulse Morgan. I did threes. Officially, there was a bonus beginning 4. With the proper rest, could I have gotten 4? I could probably get 4 pull-ups. I think that's where things would get pretty ugly. Now I got my threes. They were pretty ugly at the end. I did get full range of motion. I got my chin up each set. I got a full dead hang. A long dead hang. I definitely hung in there for a bit. Probably longer than, if I was judging something on an official level. If I was a post-Oregon judge, I might give myself an asterisk. But hey, I got it done. One thing, I talked about Paul from Oregon. And that innocent sounding name. He's such a good-natured guy. One thing I shouldn't forget is he's a drummer. Drummers are inherently evil. Ginger Baker from Cream was considered a complete madman. Look at Keith Moon. I think the only real non-evil drummer in the history of drumming is Ringo Starr. And I'm not too sure about him. So take that in consideration. If you are new to pulls from Oregon and you're thinking like I was, how bad can it be? Paul from Oregon would never hurt me. He'll hurt you. Oh, definitely for sure. All right, guys. Anyway, I wanted to talk about relaxing. Conversation with Duncan Walsh again and again, always insightful. He asked me if I could sum up my philosophy in one word, if I could put it on a slogan, on a t-shirt, what would it be? And as I don't know, I actually have a philosophy. What I do is sort of feel my way through life in a responsive, intuitive manner. I do things that I believe are good for me. Meditation, breath work, yoga, walking, running, burpees. And in that practice, I think the sense of self diminishes, along with a growing sense of compassion and empathy. The distance between me and others shrinks to the point where, as Ramana Maharishi said, there are no others. That empathy is beyond connection. It's an actual experience of soulful beingness with others. If that makes sense. I'm not sure it does to me, but it's the best I can do to describe it. That grows with meditation. That grows with self-inquiry. That goes with the practice of breath work and yoga. It grows with anything that we do that diminishes the sense of ego. When, as George Harrison said, I, me, mine. It's the second Beatle reference in a single talk here. And when I say ego and diminish the ego, I don't mean getting rid of it. I don't mean that the ego is something that we need to battle. It isn't. That's part of relaxing. When we're relaxed, that ego doesn't have quite the grip on us any longer. We realize that it's actually dialogue in the mind, not our actual selves. It's thoughts occurring. It's not us. It's not our dialogue. Our dialogue is done in silence. It's done with the body. It's done in motion. It's done in stillness. But it's not verbalized by a thought-filled mind, a thought-filled head. It is not verbalized in that sense at all. It's expressed. Expressed is a better word, I think, than verbalized. My burpees, that's an expression that goes beyond ego. Now, when I stand up and I demand 5 more at the expense of feeling good, at the expense of my recovery, at the expense of my health, or the possibility of risking pulling a muscle or throwing my back out or hurting a knee, that's ego. That's an ego rep versus expressing burpees in that relaxed fashion. Relaxed doesn't necessarily mean lazy, doesn't necessarily mean without passion. Perfect example, 2 or 3 days ago, Rob Williams put out a video on his channel where he was, I think he did 6 counts and swings, maybe it was something other, but out of nowhere, like that, he struck Bob, the striking dummy, punching dummy, in such a fast, relaxed, Bruce Lee-like manner that it was like nothing. He didn't tense up, he didn't kia, he didn't, nothing was done with effort. And by effort, again, you know, I don't mean that it didn't have intention. I mean that he didn't tense up and strike from that point of balled up energy. He was loose, he was coiled, and then bam, he struck. And then it was right back to doing reps and having a conversation with the camera as if he did absolutely nothing at all. That's relaxation. That's how we meditate. We meditate from that relaxed point. It's not that we don't have thoughts. It's not that we don't have experienced feelings, or that we have an itch and we have to scratch or whatever, or that there aren't distractions. It's that we're relaxed, that a thought occurs, and it's simply a thought. It's not the end of the meditation. It's not the failure of true meditation. It's just a thought. And we let it go. And we go back to the mantra, nice, easily. We don't need to hold on to the mantra. We don't need to concentrate on it. We don't need to force it. It just happens. We think the mantra. We let the mantra go. We breathe during breath work. We let the breath go. We breathe for whatever count, whatever method we're doing, and we let it go. Breath happens naturally. It's not forced. Everyday life, when we're just existing, just being, when we're sleeping, we don't have to wake up and remember, breathe. We're being breathed. Breath is coming in, breath is going out. We are being expressed as the breath of the universe in one single breath-filled motion. Amazing. That's relaxation. Everything happens from that relaxed sense. That the universe exploded from that singularity and relaxed. There wasn't anything to do. It didn't say, okay, now I have to form oxygen, now I have to form atmosphere for the earth, now I have to do this, now I have to do that. It just happened. Everything just happened. Everything is always just happening. Now, in that relaxation, in that great happening of the way, of the Tao, of the Wyrd, we can enter an intent and let the universe carry out the details. That's the secret to manifestation. That's the secret of the secret. As Rhonda Burns put out several years ago, made a big deal over manifesting. The Maharishi offered that decades and decades ago. And it's the secret found in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. Just enter an intention in that gap between thoughts that happens when we naturally relax and let the universe carry out the details. All right, guys, that's a bit longer talk than I was planning. That kind of stuff is always fun for me to talk about. I hope somebody gets something out of it. Thanks for joining me on the Pools from Oregon. Listening to me whine, complain, vent. But ultimately, it was a lot of fun. I'm glad I did it, and I'm going to be back in the program. The next goal, whenever it happens, it might happen next time. It might be a month from now. 4s, all the way through. All right, guys, take care. Bye.